4 o'clock on a beautiful Florida afternoon where the weather is 75 degrees in our studio here. It never changes. What's the weather outside? I don't have our...
75 degrees.
75 degrees.
Okay, so even 75. Traffic report, Mike?
Always.
Mike lost his mic.
You don't have a mic anymore.
There's traffic.
Dr. X took your mic, I think. Dr. X, you got that mic right there. We're back on TrentoVision.tv here on the 5th of December. How many shopping days left till Christmas? 21, something like that? You got all your gifts?
Yeah, I got all my Hanukkah gifts.
Yeah, and what about Christmas, too? There's 2 holidays going on.
Nah.
Hanukkah, there's one every day. You're supposed
I'm
to do.
celebrating Kwanzaa this year. I'm changing.
Yeah, that's a fun... That's
Holiday time is great, except if you don't want to be on a diet, that's all.
Yeah, well, yeah, I am. I have to lose a few pounds. That's the voice of Dr. X, but you can be seen. We have video going. Do you mind if you're
here.
seen? Do you mind if you're
Dr.
seen?
X.
I have no problem with that.
Okay. We have a special guest here for a little bit with us, unexpected. So, but we
me the
like
Sharia
that.
book.
The who?
Give me the Sharia book.
Oh, okay. The Sharia book. All right. For those of you just getting in your automobiles and trying to figure out what the heck's going on here, this is Tom Trento, your host, with J. Mark Campbell, Invisible Mike, who has no voice today. CJ is not here. She's a little bit under the weather, but we do have a special guest, Dr. X. What's up, Dr. X?
Well, just came to make my annual visit to my engineer, Joe,
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
and to the station manager,
You bringing Glenn Levitt?
and to the station boss here.
Where's
and-
our Glenn Levitt at? You know?
yeah, you bring him the right stuff, and he's always happy.
He's always happy.
Never misses.
Oh, that's good.
And
bringing
so
the good stuff.
we've been on the radio here with Bob Morency and the group since back 1992, and then I was off for a while. I'll be back in 1999. I've been on continuously every week. So
What do you when you say you're on the radio? What do you do?
I have a show every Tuesday morning
Oh, okay.
from 11 to 12,
Oh,
and they repeat it a couple of times during the weekend.
What's your show?
Called No Bones About It.
Oh,
With
it's
Dr. Alvin Stein.
Okay.
And I talk about my type of medicine that I practice.
Do you
And I
practice voodoo or what?
Alternative. I do alternative and complementary medicine, basically. I treat pain without drugs, without narcotics.
We need to talk.
My patients get rid of pain because we are treating the cause of pain. And like anything else, if you treat a problem and you treat a cause, get rid of the cause, the problem goes away. If you put a Band-Aid on it, if you give something narcotics to treat the symptoms, if you push the ball down the road for somebody else to take care of it, none of the problems go away. And it doesn't matter whether it's your health or whether it's our government or anything else we do, but treat the cause and you can deal with the problems. So arrive at the cause and develop a program to treat the cause and you'll see results. And so this is the kind of approach I have to my pain patients. And I do a couple of disciplines. One of the disciplines is prolotherapy. Prolotherapy is a form of injections which regenerate and rejuvenate torn ligaments
oh,
and stabilize joints and regenerate cartilage. So for arthritis, for torn cartilages, for things of that nature,
Okay.
we are able to turn things around. Any bone and joint area in the body, from the neck all the way down to the feet and the toes, is amenable to prolotherapy if we can reach it with a needle and with the solutions that we use. The solutions are all safe. They're local anesthetic, sugar solutions, and other irritants to stimulate the body to heal itself. We're pushing the body to heal itself. I use other disciplines. Neural therapy is a way to rid the body of interference fields and toxins. And this is an area that I have been working with since 1994 when I personally found out that I was heavily duty sick with poisons.
oh,
In my case, it was mercury.
Oh.
Mercury from teeth. And I've been working in the area of detoxification and nutrition.
Okay.
And when you get involved in these things, then you put other compatible issues together. So the compatible issues are treating neurotransmitter disease. Neurotransmitter is the brain. Serotonin and dopamine are the electrical conducting chemicals in the brain. They're made in the body by eating appropriate diet or by the use of specific amino acids that the body uses. They're parts of protein. The body uses it to make these specific chemicals, serotonin and dopamine. And an imbalance that is caused by toxins, or an imbalance that's caused by genetic damage, or an imbalance that's caused by trauma, or the abundance of chemicals that the body can't get rid of, and you now have somebody who has disease states. So what are the disease states that are associated with this? The biggest one is Parkinson's disease, and we see a lot of people with Parkinson's bad treated with Sinemet, which is carbidopa, which actually makes the disease worse, restless legs, anxiety, depression, panic attacks, hormonal imbalances, premenstrual syndrome, postmenopausal, insomnia, obsessive compulsive behaviors of all types, Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis,
Oh, really? Oh,
irritable
wow.
bowel syndrome, inflammatory bowel syndrome. You see, what's unique about what I'm talking about is
Let's do
given
this. Hang on one second,
Go
because I think we have
a
a
guest.
hit right here, and then you're going to have some questions for this guy. His wife is going through some stuff for sure.
Some pain stuff. So
And
might become a hair club patient here. So
Go ahead.
We won't keep you too long. We'll have to do some of
That's
this
okay.
offline.
Right.
But Joe, are you on the line, Joe?
Hi, Tom.
Hi, how are you? Joe Dugan from the South Carolina Tea Party Convention that's taking place the weekend, 13, 14 of January, correct, Joe?
12 and 13, Tom.
12 and 13. That's right. I leave on the 11th. 12th and 13th of January, and you're going to be calling in and bringing some of your guests on weekly. You have invited me. I am privileged and honored to be one of your speakers at the South Carolina Tea Party Convention, not too far from here. Folks want to go. Tell us a little bit about the convention, what the purpose is, and where it's all headed.
Well, let me give you an update first, Tom. We got final confirmation today from Congressman Jeff Duncan from South Carolina, who was elected in 2010 and was part of our fearsome foursome.
I can hear fine. I can hear.
And also, Tom DeWeese is going to speak about Agenda 21. And we had a long conversation today with Dr. Robert Moffat, who's a senior fellow at the Heritage Foundation.
Great.
And we thought so much of the idea of you having a panel to discuss the areas that you will be discussing that I think we might do the same thing for Obamacare. We have Dr. C.L. Gray and Grace Marie Turner and Dr. Robert Moffat.
What was the name of that care that you just said?
No care?
Obamacare? Hey, Dr. Stein, I'm getting a headache.
Tax revenue care.
Whenever
Tax
I,
revenue care.
what do you say?
Tax revenue care.
Tom.
Whenever I hear, we have a doctor in the studio, unexpected guest right now. He treats pain. Whenever I hear the word Obama, I get splitting headaches. What can you do about that?
Neurotransmitter treatment.
Called shock therapy.
Care.
All right, Joe. Sorry, but I
Either that, or we can call it Wait Forever Care.
yeah,
We
right,
forever
exactly. I know so many doctors, friends of mine who are doctors, that are seriously considering leaving the medical profession if this thing hits. So let me say a quick word about the panel that you're assembling for us, because as of today, there was some interesting news that broke that is very relevant. We're doing a panel on national security. Frank Gaffney, myself, former Ambassador Hank Cooper, and I know we've invited, or it's in the process, Congressman Allen West to be there. If not, we have a great guy to back up Congressman West. But we'll be talking on Islamic Jihad, that whole issue. But Hank Cooper was the one of the Reagan appointees in the Defense Department to negotiate the ballistic missile treaties and everything with the Soviets. And Hank is an expert on the EMP, electromagnetic pulse bomb. Well, just recently, our United States military, Air Force, with Boeing and some of the organizations that aren't too well known, test it, not theoretically, not on a computer, but an actual physical test of a directed EMP ray gun flying above a building and hitting the building with this ray gun, basically, and knocking out all the electronics in the building. Successfully tested it over and over and over. And we are quickly approaching the point where we can send drones into places and knock out all the command control communications. Now, start reading that as being somewhere like Tehran, Iran, and we're upping the ante, and there's a lot of discussion that this sort of weapon may be used on Iran, and that's public information now. But we'll be really detailing it on our panel.
And also, Henry Cooper is also one of the co-authors of Sharia, The Threat to America, Team B2 co-author, along with Tom Trento, whose name is right here, and Hank Cooper's name is right here. And he is the former director of Strategic and Defensive Initiative.
Yep, he's a great guy. So, yeah, we're looking forward to it, Joe. What else is going on up there? I know we only have you for a couple of minutes here.
Well, it's this particular issue of EMP is really, really scary. There was a novel written about it. The setting was in South Carolina, of a town that was their electrical grid was wiped out, and only 2 cars would work in the town: an old Mustang and a Jeep. And very, very interesting story. But so I'm looking forward very much to this roundtable discussion and to hearing each one of you individually.
Well, people don't know, but one of the reasons why I drive a 1996 Chevy Astro van with 250,000 miles, I'm getting ready for an EMP attack. I will be able to drive because there's nothing in that car that has anything to do with a computer.
That's right.
Nothing. So
points, plugs, and a rotor.
It just goes, man.
So when the electromagnetic field hits, it won't knock your car out.
Nothing at all.
Nothing at
I'm
all.
driving down the road past the Cadillacs and the Ferraris, the Bentleys. I'm just driving down the road.
Yeah, your iPhone ain't going to be working now.
Well, forewarned is forearmed, Tom.
Yeah, you got it.
You got it.
Hey, Joe, how can people get in touch with you and tell them a little bit about,
Okay, we have this convention is going to be held in the Spring-Made Beach Resort in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, January 12th and 13th. And if people are interested in attending, this will be by invitation only. And I would like to give you an email address of someone that they can contact if they are interested. Mostly it will be members of grassroots and Tea Party organizations that will receive invitations because we are limited to just over 600 seats in the facility. And so because of that restriction, we cannot have it open to the general public.
Are you streaming this live or doing anything on the on the video side or anything?
Well, yes, we are making a documentary that we are going to present the solutions offered by all of our speakers in a documentary format to Congress right after the inauguration, and request that they consider the solutions offered by our speakers in writing legislation that will be going through the Congress in the first 6 months of 2013.
Pretty cool. You should consider streaming it like we're doing right now. If you're watching TrentoVision.tv, check with your video guys to see if they can do this.
Yeah.
And then you can expand it to millions, trillions of people, billions of people. We could help you with that.
Trillions.
Yes, yes. All right. Well, why don't you give that address, and then we're going to have to move on here in a bit.
Okay, it's Ron, R-O-N-R-H 33 at gmail.com.
Ron, RH33 @gmail.com.
Right.
Perfect. Or the fallback is send your cards and letters to Tom at TrentoVision.tv. I'll forward them to Joe Dugan. We'd love to have a contingent from Florida going up, some of the Tea Party people from here, and we'll start the promotion internally and see if we can get some of the Broward and Palm Beach folks to maybe jump in a bus or something.
What date is
Come
it,
on
Tom?
12/13 in December. January.
January.
January 13th?
12 and 13.
12 and 13.
Saturday,
it'll
Sunday.
run from 9 to 5 each day.
Yeah,
9 to 5 each day.
I'm
okay.
flying out the 11th, And Peter is taking my seat on the 11th, Peter Feynman. Okay. All right, Joe, we thank you. Let's touch base next week again, and we'll help you make this thing be a great success like you did last year. It was a tremendous event last year.
Thank you, Tom. Good talking to you.
Thank you very much. All right, Dr. Stein, we only have you for a couple of minutes because we do have to get back to what we're doing here.
Whatever. I'm enjoying this so much. I don't really want to go.
We have a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun.
We actually do have a lot of fun here.
Is there, on a serious level, we have so many friends that are still in a funk over the loss of the win of President Obama. I don't know what you do on your show, but we are trying to be the biggest thorn in the side of President Obama. We believe ideologically he's committed to the destruction of the economy, the U.S. military, and we're here to expose that. We have a lot of friends that just want to pack up and move away. What is your advice to somebody that just says, the hell with it all, the country's gone?
Well, I don't believe that there's any country like the United States of America, no matter what. So I've been around a lot of countries around the world, and still the United States of America is the place I want to come home to. I do agree absolutely that the road we're on is the wrong road. But we still have a system of constitutional government, and as it stands right now, we got 4 more years until we can really go back and start educating the people who have been voting the wrong way. We have not done a good job at that. I believe that communication, I was very strong supporter of Mitt Romney, but I don't believe that the people in the Republican Party communicated their goals, their missions, and the dangers of the fiscal cliff, of the dangers of the uncontrolled spending, the dangers of going into economic chaos and bankruptcy. I don't think anybody recognizes that. And I think the people that came out there and voted, and you can see this from looking at O'Reilly's show and seeing Water's World. You can go listen to Jay Leno and listen to his jaywalking, and you see that there's a huge proportion of American public that knows nothing except who's the latest rap star. And they don't know anything about politics. They don't know anything about the country, and they don't even know about where we are. And I think that they have been dumbed down. The entire population has been dumbed down, demonstrated again by our inability to exceed and excel in the academic fields. You go to college and they're going to get left-wing ideology way, way out of proportion to anything that the population has. And so anybody coming out of college, unless they were indoctrinated at home, are just not even listening to anybody conservative. And that's a big problem. There's a re-education situation that has to start right from there. Somehow or other, they got to get to understand what the difference is. And you can't just give everything away. And if you're going to give it away, there's going to be people who are going to be willing to take it. And once they're taking it, they're never going to go ahead and sign off of what they're taking. So they're going to go out and vote blindly for keep giving me handouts. I had an email that came to me just the other day. An automobile dealer was trying to sell an automobile. A customer came in, and he looked at this. The guy is looking at the credit references, and he sees that the person is collecting permanent disability. Looked at the person, and the person said, you don't look like you're totally disabled. And the person said, well, I had a short-term disability, but once I got onto it, there's no reason for me to go off a disability. So I'm able-bodied, but I just haven't looked for a job. Well, why not? Well, because I get $1,500 a month from disability. I get a housing allowance of X number of dollars. I get food stamps from X number of dollars. And when you add up all of the numbers that the person gets $3,500 a month from the government as money. The person was working, if they were making $300, $400, $500 a week, that doesn't equate. Why should I go to work? The car dealer was remorseful. Why? Because he couldn't even make the sale, because a dealer down the street gave her $10 a month less on the sale, and he was so happy that the person was judicious in how they spent the government money that they were getting. Ironic as it is, but that's not the only one. I see people in my office come in for disability evaluation for Social Security and other disabilities, and I'm working with pain, and yet they're not willing to. I've been living with pain most of my life. That's why I got into this pain business, to see if I can deal with my own self. But I don't take any narcotics. I never took one. I can't take them. I don't want to take them. I've been over 45 operations on my body. I still don't take the narcotics. but I am looking for ways to take care of people's pain, separate and distinct. Interesting that you talked about electromagnetic field and shooting.
Yeah.
Because I'm now I've just pretty much investigated, and I've been seeing what they've been doing with pulsed electromagnetic field therapy. And this is a whole new area of using electromagnetic field for restoration of function within the body. We're going to be talking more about it on my show as we go on, because I'm getting the equipment in to use it on myself and use it on my patients. But most everybody knows about the use of magnets. They talked about magnets. You wear a magnetic bracelet. You put magnets here on your body and there. Those are static magnets, and static magnets don't have the same thing. They say that they bring more blood supply to an area and therefore allow an area to heal and the pain goes away. Doesn't really work as well. But the pulsed magnetic field, the pulsed electromagnetic field,
boom, that's
boom,
shot, yeah.
boom, 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 and you change the wavelengths and change the frequency so somebody doesn't get used to the harmonics of it, and you can turn the body on in a very major way.
He looks into that stuff.
To heal.
Yeah, this is what I was researching in LA.
And it actually works, and there's some people out there that have been talking about it, and I sort of like, okay, I pushed it away because the machinery can cost a fortune.
You hear a lot of this. It ends up being like voodoo type science. But if you do actually get in and actually test it and do some trials on it yourself and see if you actually do get a positive response,
Well, that's what I'm getting. I'm getting the machine because I need it for myself. I need it for my wife. I need it for my family, and I need it for my patients.
Right.
And if I'm going to see it's going to work, I'm going to tell everybody about it because I do believe it. But I don't propose anything. I don't use anything that I don't know doesn't work. I don't use it on somebody else as a test, Jimmy. I use it on myself.
You're the crash test
You're the
dummy.
crash test
I'm the test. I'm the test.
I think we
animal.
have somebody that may want to talk to you or us. Sarah, are you on the line? Sarah from Portland? Hello, Sarah. Sarah's Saba from Portland. I can't see. Saba?
Hi. Hello.
Hi, you're with Tom and Dr. Stein and Mark, and we're talking about the Islamic Jihad and pulse waves to heal your body. So whatever you want to talk about.
Well, we on everything today. Olio.
How could we help you, Saba?
Mixed bag of
First of
nuts
all,
here.
I wanted to say assalamu alaikum, peace greetings to you from your Muslim friends.
Okay.
And I just wanted to, I've been listening to you guys for a while, but I didn't want to talk about your Social Security things and all the things that are wrong with our budget and stuff.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I did want to talk about the Muslim stuff that you guys have been talking about. As a Muslim, as you can imagine, it's a little bit offensive, but I wanted to reach out to you as an American. I think we spoke 6 months ago or something, a while back. But just wanted to follow up and say that, I believe that, we're all children of God and we're all, Abrahamic cousins and Christian, Jews, Muslims. We should, come together as human beings and, instead of promoting intolerance, we should be more open and nice towards each other and try to get along here in America. We face some very serious
Kumbaya, my Lord. Kumbaya.
Hey, it sounds great,
Great.
Saba. It really sounds great. Tell Yosef Qaradari. Tell Mohammed Morsi. Tell Osama bin Laden. Have they hijacked Islam, or is Reliance of the Traveler, is Al-Azhar University in Cairo, Egypt? Do these guys know what they're talking about, or do you have the true understanding of Islam?
I think we all have a part to play. Nobody's perfect. Everyone has their shortcomings. But
Shortcomings?
Shortcomings.
Saba, you're a very wonderful person, and on a human level, we're all humans, and there's love and respect. But an ideology that you happen to be following has justified the killing of Jews and Christians historically for 1,400 years, has knocked down a couple of buildings in New York City in the name of Allah. Now, how do you reconcile these individuals? They weren't poor people. They were highly educated Saudis, most of them, and they were on a jihad to destroy the economic capability of America for the sake of Islam. How do you help others understand that these people are wrong, or that we all need to just kind of love each other? Help us understand that.
There's good and bad people everywhere. I don't think, obviously what happened on 9/11 was really horrible, and we're all living the consequences of that. As a Muslim American, I often asked about that. And, although I was 16 at the time, I had nothing to do with it. For some reason I'm blamed for it. But I don't think that that's the right perspective. When you're letting them get the best of us by, hating them more and letting, what happened after 9/11, we have actually destroyed our economy by going into war and acting with anger instead of really learning about what we were dealing with. We have, massively depleted our, budget, and the reason we're in the whole fiscal cliff is because of these two wars that we fought. And they're more than ever, ready to, and they hate us a lot more than they ever did before 9/11. But I think the solution lies in all of us working together as Americans, as human beings, Muslims and us, all of us coming together and not just, sarcastically singing.
Well, Saba, let me ask you a question.
That's Mark speaking.
It's Mark
now.
Campbell. All right. We have a good friend who we work with a lot, with Dr. Zuhdi Jasser. Have you followed his work?
Yes.
Okay. Now, he is very outspoken on the Muslim issue and the Muslim Brotherhood in America. And he actually sees it. He's actually preaching that the Sharia and Islam and the laws of Islam are incompatible with the U.S. Constitution, and that there should be a separation of church and state. Do you agree with that philosophy, or do you think that the Sharia should be integrated with the state?
I think there are things that could help from the Islamic perspective, jurisprudence, but as far as Zuhdi Jasser, in fact, I don't think we should limit ourselves to only his interpretation of Islam.
Well, do you agree with Zuhdi Jasser, or do you disagree with his philosophy?
Well, I agree partly, but I don't agree with his practice, the way he's alienated himself.
What tactic do you disagree with?
Well, the way he's actually, counting all other Muslims, as if, he's the only person who knows Islam.
All right, I'm trying to define
Let her finish.
countering all other Muslims. You're talking about the jihadi Muslims over in Saudi Arabia, or the
let me explain one thing. All right, hang on. This is Tom. Dr. Zuhdi Jasser, for Dr. Stein and others out there, he's a Muslim American, served in the United States Navy, lieutenant commander, served his country well, and he believes, as Saba and Mark are talking about, that Islam needs to be reformed. And he makes a distinction, Saba, between religious Islam, worshiping Allah the way you want on your prayer rugs and all that, and political Islam, which is evil, and he has reasons where he says it's not even accurately interpreted, but all the political stuff has to come out. So starting at that point, do you think Islam should just be in America just a religion, or should it have a political component also?
It should. I mean, as an American Muslim, I have every right to get engaged in the political process and to be actively, you can interpret it as political Islam, but I think, I ran for Congress a couple of years ago, and it was I got a lot of backlash just because of the fact that I'm a Muslim. But I don't see the difference. I don't see why I shouldn't be allowed to, be actively involved in politics and, view my, concerns. And, I think Muslim Americans have a lot to provide the U.S. government in terms of our, understanding of the Muslim culture and stuff. And if you involve Muslims in the process, you're much better off than just, hating everyone. And I think Muslim Americans have the solutions to fight with the political and the jihadi ideologies much more than, Americans.
Saba, you keep saying do you consider yourself a Muslim first and an American second, or an American first and a Muslim second?
I'm a Muslim American.
So you're Muslim first by all doctrine and things, and an American second, or a American first and a Muslim second?
Muslim is like being spiritual with my God, and that comes to me.
Well, the reason I asked the reason I asked that question is because you're saying, Sharia can be compatible with the U.S. Constitution, and that's where we're going to have a major disagreement. You can be, if you want to be Muslim, go ahead and be Muslim. I could care less. But if you want to implement Sharia laws, doctrines, and ideals into the U.S. Constitution, that's where we're going to have a serious disagreement.
And I don't want to. I don't think, the U.S. Constitution is not perfect, but I don't, that's not what I'm trying to do. But under the U.S. Constitution, I do have the right to be actively politically and,
Yeah, you have a right to be politically, but not to introduce laws which are the first principle of the First Amendment of the Constitution is the separation of church and state. The first tenet of Sharia is the integration of the church and state. Completely, diametrically, one at the opposite, opposed.
Well, maybe Mark, maybe Saba does not agree with that. And here's where it gets tricky, Dr. Stein and others. When we talk to Muslims, and we make a very clear point that we're not critiquing the individual like Saba at this point. We're critiquing a belief system that she adheres to. We're saying in that belief system, do you think we have the right to critique your belief system, Islam?
Sure. Yeah.
Right,
there is
of course,
no compulsion in religion, and you do have every right to question whatever aspect of Islam you choose to do so.
Okay. And when we are critiquing Islam, we're saying as a system, it fails. It fails on a human level. It fails on an interpersonal level. It fails on a financial level. It fails on a political level. And it's very easy to look at the 56 Islamic nations and now Palestine, 57, and see virtually complete failure in every one of these over 1,400 years as a civilized society. So we're critiquing a system and not the individual that adheres to it. But the trick is, who's to say what the system is? Whenever we deal or debate Muslims, it's always, well, that's not our interpretation, that's not our interpretation. Are you allowed as a Muslim to veer off of what the true interpretation of Islam is? Can you not follow the Quran in your life, or do you have to follow the Quran?
Well, obviously I do follow the Quran, but the interpretation that you're talking about that's your view of Islam. For me, I feel like, Islam has all the solutions for the American problems. I view it very differently than you do. And based on, our understanding is, the reason it hasn't been working in a lot of Islamic countries is because, we have the whole electoral process integrated with, the Islamic ideologies and stuff, and we've mixed and matched both systems, and we've got the worst of both sides, actually, in a lot of Muslim countries. But there is no, right answer. I can't say, whatever I say about Sharia is going to be the perfect law, or neither is the same thing with the Egyptian scholars or anybody else. I think we all need to work together to heal our earth and, work together. I know that there's a separation of church and state, but I think the church and the faith community can provide a lot of solutions to our problems these days, and we should be open to that.
All right. Well, let me pursue this a little bit because I think this is interesting for our audience and our viewers, our listeners. We're talking with Saba from Portland, Oregon, and I have spoken with you, I think, once before. I know a little bit about you. You follow the stuff we're working. She's a Muslim American, and the conversation simply is, sometimes people think we're a little tough on Muslims, and we're trying to clarify that. We're tough on an ideology. But let's bring this down from a theoretical to a very practical, specific. When we deal with the academics in the Islamic world, the teachers, the imams, the sheikhs, all of these individuals, particularly on the Sunni side, they point to a particular book called Reliance of the Traveler that's been approved by the seat of Sunni Islam right now, which is in Cairo at a university called Al-Azhar. So also
endorsed by the North American Islamic Trust.
Yeah, it's the law book, the book of Islamic jurisprudence for Muslims. Okay. It's at least the starting point for 90% of Islamic law, and usually the ending point 100%. But
I need to make it's the International Institute of Islamic Thought.
Yeah, ITTT. But in terms of advice and direction we get from academics and leading imams, yes, if you follow Islam as articulated in Reliance of the Traveler, you're living the valid and proper life of a Muslim. One of the elements in the Quran and in Reliance is that Muhammad, by example, and Allah, by allowance, allows a man to have 4 wives. and there's very specific rules about the 4 wives, how they're to be treated, and what the situation is. But would you agree with me that in Islam, a Muslim man is allowed 4 wives according to the Quran and according to Sharia?
Yes, they are, if they treat them equally, but, they can barely handle one, so.
All we're doing, we're taking this a step at a time. So you would agree that the Quran teaches and that the Sharia teaches that it's okay for a man to have 4 wives?
It says, yes, you can have up to 4 wives in the Quran.
Up to 4 wives, okay. Is there any reason why God's law, Allah's law, why Muhammad's example should not be applied in the United States of America?
Well, it's already being applied in ways that are not very legal, but a lot of Muslim men that I have seen have had multiple wives. One as legal and all the other ones are listed as girlfriends or something, or dependents or whatever. But I don't think that, going around the problem is going to, make it all legal. I'm not saying, it's very fair, a woman can't have 4 husbands to make it all equal, but the law just set the way
the husband can have 4 wives.
Does she want her husband to have 4 wives?
Well, yeah, the doctor's asking, would you like your husband to have 4 wives?
No.
No. But now follow me. I'm making a very fine point in the Sharia and Islamic law. For a Muslim trying to follow God's law, would you agree that Allah's law is superior than the law of the United States of America?
Yes.
Okay. Then what is the problem for Muslim men following God's law? You just kind of critiqued and condemned the people and I know Muslims too that are doing the same thing. What is the problem if they are following God's law over the United States law, which doesn't allow 4 wives for 1 husband? You should be in total agreement if you're trying to live a consistent Islamic life.
I'm speaking practically, but yeah, they're already doing it. And so a lot of if you look at it from an American perspective, you really want me to argue polygamy on whatever. It's more like, a lot of American men have outside relationships and stuff. And I think this is meant to be a protection for women, that instead of having these extramarital affairs, you should be a legal wife instead of, having extra relationships.
Yeah, let me ask you one question. I'm going to have these guys, if they want to ask a couple. And thank you for hanging in here with us. You're a brave Muslim woman. We're just having a nice discussion. But as I understand the Sharia, particularly as it's articulated in the Reliance of the Traveler, when a Muslim chooses by an act of their will to leave Islam and go to another religion, let's say Christianity, and become a born-again Christian, the Sharia allows for and mandates in some situations the death of that individual, particularly when they turn against Islam and start speaking against Islam. Are you in agreement with the Quran and the Sharia that allows for the death of a Muslim who converts to Christianity and then speaks against Islam?
I think the way the apostasy is being interpreted right now is extreme and harsh. I don't think, even during Prophet Muhammad's time, there were hypocrites and stuff that,
Yeah, but Saba, I can read you the text that says this in the Reliance of the Traveler, that says when a Muslim converts, if they do not speak against Islam, you abandon them. If they speak against Islam, they ought to be killed. Do you think that's a legitimate...
Well, the interpretation in the Reliance of the Traveler, I do have several concerns with that. My question to you, Tom, is that you should actually do a brief survey of Muslims and see how many actually even know about this book, because I think it's very Egyptian and Arab focused. I'm from Pakistan. I've never.
Well, it was actually approved. Actually, it was approved by not only Middle Eastern scholars. It was also approved by all the American jurisprudential systems in the United States. It's actually right in the front of the book.
I'm sure that it is. I have no question about the authority.
She doesn't like it.
They do this in Iran. They
Don't
have
know about
a
the
Catholic
interpretations that are being written over there.
Yeah.
So just, I've read parts of the book.
I would
and,
agree.
there are things
I would
that
agree. I got to hurry up a little bit here. We're running out of the clock here. But I would agree with you that it's an offensive book, The Reliance of the Traveler, for the United States of America. It's fully offensive, great portions of it, and you're offended by it. That's why America is different, Saba, and that's why we're fighting the Islamization of America. But if you want to rip the parts out of the Quran and the Reliance that are in contradistinction to the principles of the Constitution, we're with you 100%, and we'll help you, guide you, protect you. If you're a Muslim brother that is culturally implementing a jihad to change everything, then you become our enemy. But you're not our enemy. We love you, Saba.
No.
Okay? We're going to have to...
I think we just need to update the book. Like here, inshallah, I'll write an updated version of The Reliance of the Traveler, and then we take that, and hopefully we'll get it approved by all the Islamic scholars.
Hey, we're with you on
We're
that.
100% on that one.
All right. Thank you very much, Saba. Good talking to you. And we got, I think, Alex on the line for a quick statement.
I'll come back. Yes, I just have I just have a quick question for
And where are you calling from, Alex?
the lady. She seems very nice, very, I don't know, she's very nice. She has a good heart, and she's trying to, reach out. But I just have one question for her. Why is it that in our countries, in so many of our countries, Europe, Latin America, everywhere in the world, we can open a mosque, but in Saudi Arabia, they won't open a church?
Reciprocity.
That's the only question
right.
I have for today. That's the only question I have for today. I want to leave that question. Why can't we open a church in Saudi Arabia, but all over the world they can open a mosque? And in Austria, they just open a Saudi Arabian interdialogue for interreligious faith. How is that possible? Thank you very much, and have a good day.
All right, thanks, Alex, very much. I don't know if Saba's still with us. I don't think so.
Yeah, I think we lost her. But, yeah, it's reciprocity. I mean, it's everywhere else. Here you can open up
It's
anything.
apartheid, Mark.
Yeah, it's apartheid. That's right.
Saudi Arabia is an apartheid state.
It is. It's totally apartheid.
You drive down the roads, it says Muslims only going into Mecca. No non-Muslims are allowed. How the hell can people accuse Israel, where we have been,
Right.
and Israelis aren't allowed in the West Bank?
There's actually big signs that says no Israeli is allowed. The crossing over to
and
that
they've
side.
conceded to the Muslim world in the West Bank that Israelis can't go in there. Now, I as a Christian, you as a Unitarian,
Right.
you as a Jew, three of us get in my magic bus, fly to Saudi Arabia.
We got sit in the left
We,
hand lane.
want to go visit Mecca and go to
sorry.
can't go.
Yeah.
That's apartheid. Now, when you confront our
But
Muslim...
they can blame Israel as being an apartheid nation every day and every minute of the day. But
But it's
when
insane.
the West Bank says, what's his name? Abbas said that there'll be no Jews living in the West Bank.
Yep.
But you don't mind that the Israeli Arabs have a better standard of living, a better way of life, better economic circumstances living under Israel than those in the West Bank, because they spent all of their time, effort, and money in building munitions to fight Israel rather than going ahead and building an economically viable
Absolutely.
country.
And here's the crazy thing. You talk to the people who live in Gaza or pretty much anywhere in the Middle East, and they ask, hey, would you like to live in the United States? Oh, yeah. Would you like to live in Israel? Oh, yeah. And it's oh, yeah, I want to live there. Well, why do you want to live there? Oh, because you guys got so many better things. Da, 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 da. And you're like, and I want to go to your schools. I want to do all this. And I go, then why do you want to bring your crap that you have here over to there and try to force your old stuff that's not working, that you obviously want to leave behind for something that's a lot better? And it's insane.
Well, one of the we're talking about a lot of things today. Tom Trento, TrentoVision.tv at 50 minutes past the hour. We just have a few more minutes here. Our next hour, we're Skyping in national security analyst, our good friend Ryan Morrow. Ryan will be coming in from New Jersey. Exit. Remember, I think he's 91 or 86 or whatever. 91, I think he's 92.
Nice place to be from.
Hey, easy,
You from Jersey?
easy.
You're a Jersey boy.
Oh, me too. Me too. Where are you from?
What exit? What exit?
Oh, okay.
What exit?
Patterson and Paramus.
What exit? Off the Parkway. You remember?
I know, 18, the top of the turnpike.
So We're here today, and we have a guest with us, Dr. Stein, who has his own show. When? Promote your show.
Tuesday mornings from 11 to 12 on WWNN, repeated on Saturday night from 10 to 11, and Sunday afternoon from 5 to 6 on WNN and WSBR.
All right, and when we take a break, Mark's going to want to talk to you on a personal level. But we're going to have Ryan on, and we're looking specifically at a Muslim Brotherhood operation in Pasadena, California on December 15th, where the Brotherhood, through an organization called MPAC, Muslim Public Affairs Committee, Council, will join with a Christian minister. And for the first time, a Muslim organization like MPAC is having a convention in a Christian church. And this is right in the playbook of the Brotherhood spreading.
Is this the same Brotherhood, Tom, that says all Muslims must make jihad? Jihad is an obligation from Allah on every Muslim. It cannot be
That's
an order.
The one.
Same
That's
one?
the one.
Same exact one? Okay,
It's
just
also,
checking. Just checking, because, we hear that there's a different Muslim
But
Brotherhood.
here's going to be here's the rub. It's the same Muslim Brotherhood that's imploding in Egypt right now. But the Brotherhood's going to come out of this. They're going to start crushing people.
Oh, they've already started. They started.
We got to get an update.
Real quick, I'll give you a 10-second update. Is they're already sending out the Muslim Brotherhood thugs to pull up the tents, and they actually have gangs of males that are going around raping women who are protester females.
This is happening right now?
Right now.
Yeah. The Brotherhood has come so far so quickly in the past 2 years. This is their manifest destiny, their moment in history. They are not going to let some Google kids knock off them from establishing the initiation of their caliphate. But we're talking about the apartheid condition of Saudi Arabia, where Jews and Christians are not allowed. Nobody except Muslims are allowed to go into Mecca, because Muhammad said that the holy city cannot have two religions, only Islam. And that view is also, by extension, implemented worldwide. Any country that Islam has conquered or gone into and eventually conquered, the other religions were either forced to submit to some sort of second, third-class existence or killed. It's that simple. Whereas Christianity, when they go into countries worldwide now, and Jewish people, when they go into countries, the economy, the self-sacrificing building is. How many Muslim hospitals are there in the West? I mean, it's crazy.
Not even that. But if you go into a country and you become part of that country, you live under the country rules. Mm-hmm. The Jews lived under the governing rules of the Talmud and the Jewish laws and justices when they were living in their own country. When they were living under another country, they became part of the other country. The king ruled. The king's laws were the king's laws. Your laws took secondary situation to the king's laws. You want to come into the United States has rules. The United States has laws. We have a constitution. You want to live here, you abide by our rules. You don't go change it. You don't come in here to change the whole constitution, to change it to what you want. You're a minority, you're not a majority, and we hope that you won't be a majority in our country. But the fact is that we have a set of rules. You want to live here, you're invited here because other immigrants have been invited here, and they become part of the American culture and the American whole being. You can't go to Australia today and they're not invited down there because they put the rules down that they don't want you.
Amen. And the Constitution, in a very real sense, it is a contract between the government and the people. It's like you and I enter into a contract. As soon as I sign it, I start changing the rules. I'm changing the terms of the contract. When you become a naturalized citizen and you take the naturalization oath, you have to get rid of all of that stuff, abjure all the potentates and former governments. Islam can't do that because it must dominate. Sorry, Dr. Stein, we got to go. It was great having you in as our special guest.
It's a pleasure.
We'll be back in a few minutes with Ryan Morrow, and we're going to look at the Muslim Brotherhood's efforts to make America in California a crazy place. But we're here. We'll take care of it.